Please welcome the Mayor of Seven Hills, the Honorable Richard Delcola, who will present the Memorial Day message.
Thank you, everyone, for allowing me the privilege of sharing with you today some of my thoughts on this important day for our nation. This day has always been the unofficial beginning day of summer, a holiday when we wish each other a happy Memorial Day. But it never, to me, felt quite right to use the word happy to describe a solemn day of memory set aside to honor those who gave their lives serving and protecting our country. Yes, this is a weekend to get together and have fun with family and friends, but it's also obviously something much bigger than that. It's a reverent time to remember and recognize the lives of those who gave up everything so that we can live the lives that we lead in freedom and happiness. We must never lose sight of the meaning behind Memorial Day and the reason for all the parades and community events. Today, there are 25 million living American veterans. Since the time George Washington commanded the Continental Army, 42 million Americans have served in the military. We have suffered a total of 1.3 million dead and 1.5 million wounded. Some historians point to President Abraham Lincoln's 1863 dedication of the National Cemetery at Gettysburg, the famous Gettysburg Address, as the beginnings of Memorial Day. In that short speech, universally recognized as one of the greatest speeches ever delivered, President Lincoln acknowledged that anything he could say to honor the fallen would be just words, and those words would be nothing compared to what the fallen soldiers had already given in battle. He said the soldiers themselves had already dedicated far beyond the small means of the living to add anything more to their sacrifice. Today, just as in 1863, our mission must be to rededicate ourselves to be worthy of the sacrifices that were made for us by those who preceded us in death while fighting for our country. I recently attended a Miami University graduation ceremony where the commencement speaker, the Academy Award-winning actor Forrest Whitaker, told the graduates that they could change the world simply by treating others with compassion. He drew inspiration from the university's Latin motto, which translated says, to accomplish without being conspicuous. Accomplish without being conspicuous. He said, our day-to-day lives are shaped by the sum of countless inconspicuous acts of sacrifice from the generations of anonymous heroes who came before us. He asked the graduates to always seek the larger truth within the truth, meaning we can't fully know the whole truth unless we know the facts, the larger truth behind the obvious. The larger truth for us today is that there are families behind the honored fallen, whether direct relatives who remain behind to take care of responsibilities at home, or our greater American family. These families worked, sacrificed, and worried for their loved ones, hoping for their safe return, and cherishing the knowledge of their love and their commitment to a larger ideal. Many continue to suffer unbearable losses. Memorial Day is a time to mourn with them, but to also observe together and celebrate the lives of all those lost friends, neighbors, and loved ones. Each and every one of them accomplished without expecting to be noticed. These great American heroes, countless numbers of them unidentified with the passage of history, but none of them forgotten, never forgotten. We owe them everything. And maybe by saying thank you for serving to the veterans who did return, we can put the phrase Happy Memorial Day in more context. You know, we're told in Matthew 7 that by their deeds you shall know them. Look around you and remember what the deeds of these heroes left behind for the rest of us, the greatest nation the world has ever known. In Seven Hills, each Memorial Day, we remember them in our own small way with a parade, or the happy face of a small child unwrapping a piece of candy, or through this ceremony, and today with the addition of 15 new names to our memorial wall. or even just by wearing a small poppy purchased from the VFW, a tradition from a World War I poem that's on the back of your agendas today that describes the fields of poppies growing among the soldiers' graves. It was President John Kennedy who said, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Remember that we too will be known by our deeds. We will be known by the way we say thank you to our veterans. We can live those words not just today, but every day. And we can give true meaning to those words by making certain to keep our promises to our veterans and their families who sacrificed so much so that we can live free. We can begin by working harder to reduce the high rates of unemployment and homelessness among our returning veterans and to guarantee that they receive the very best medical care as promised. By keeping all those obligations and thereby showing our thanks to our veterans for their service and treating them with compassion, we will find the full meaning of the words, Happy Memorial Day. And let us never forget that our greatest responsibility in remembering and honoring our fallen is to pass on to our children the freedom that they fought and died for. So yes, Happy Memorial Day, and also thank you for your service. May God bless you all, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
And now VFW Post 7609 will place the